Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tim here. So, wouldn't do I'd say a quick video, but looking at the size of the stack I got sitting over here, it won't be that quick. Excuse me. But anyway, want to do a couple quick things before I get into the stuff I'm going to show. Still watching everyone's vinyl tag, loving everything I'm seeing. For those of you who watch mine, thank you so much. It means the world that you took the time to watch, me just ramble on about some random 20 questions, and commented and things like that. So thank you so much to everybody. Appreciate it. So if you made a vinyl tag, I'm still trying to get through them all. I'm working my way through it. So I know that, like, Steve Carlson, and there's a whole bunch of them I haven't watched yet. So I'm getting there. And then secondly, to no surprise, I'm sure everybody's heard about the passing of Neil Peart. That one hit kind of home. I mean, if you watch the vinyl tag, he was my favorite drummer. Still is my favorite drummer. But yeah, that was a complete shock, and kind of hit pretty hard. So, in fact, doing some stuff around the house this weekend, I ended up just listening to Rush the whole time. I was, for those of you up north, who are dealing with the cold, I had to cut the grass. So, Farewell to Kings was my soundtrack. So, it's been bittersweet, these are songs that I know and love, but to know that he's gone is definitely a hurtful blow. So, anyway, so I got a big stack of records over here. I made a comment a few weeks back about one of my record stores, Triangle Vinyl. Linda Murphy actually stopped by there. They moved to a new location. I haven't been to the new location yet because it's a little bit more of a trek. But I was up there before they moved from their old location, and was talking with Justin, and they were doing a big blowout of some of their dollar records. And I was like, sometimes you can find some stuff, but I decided to take a trek and end up spending, I don't know, $30, and it's a stack. So I'm gonna blow through these pretty quickly for the most part, because it's not like there's gonna be any like super interesting stuff in here for the most part, but there might be a couple. So I got some 12 inches. We're gonna cook through those. So the Butt from EU, Experience Unlimited, great example of go-go from the DC area, Washington DC. Probably the biggest go-go song that was ever out there. Hip hop 12 inch from the early 80s. This is Genius Rap from Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The Request Line from Rockmaster Scott and Rockmaster Scott and the Dynamic 3, excuse me. But everybody knows the B-side, The Roof is on Fire, because we don't need no water. Let the New Shoes, I Can't Wait. Nice 12 inch single there. This one was a cool one, Your Wildest Dreams. This is a 12 inch promo from the Moody Blues, same track on either side. So another one, Taste of Your Love, excuse me, from EU. They tried to incorporate a little more R&B into their sound. Didn't really work as well for their follow-up. It also had an '89 remix version of The Butt, so they milked it for all it's worth. But I like their earlier stuff. I love Go-Go. Donna Henley, All She Wants to Do Is Dance, Still in the Shrink. Nice little 12 inch there. Wasn't familiar with this one, but it's Lip Service by Beatmaster. So I haven't really had a chance to spin any of these. In fact, the 12 inches I haven't even cleaned yet. Her Velvet Rise. And then big hit from the 80s, Paul Hardcastle's 19. Kind of a statement on the Vietnam War. And then now the LPs I have cleaned, again, there's not going to be a lot of heavy hitters in here. There's a few, but not a lot. Surprisingly, I didn't have this. So Dueling Banjos, the soundtrack from Deliverance. It's just some good picking on this one, so I decided to grab that. I get it. It's like a thrift store staple, but it was clean, and it ended up being like 20 cents. Blow Against the Wind. This is Blow Against the Empire. This is Jefferson Starship with Paul Kantner. That was a nice, it was clean. The Neuronset Greatest Hits, didn't have it again for 20 cents. The Greatest Hits, Joy to the World, Three Dog Night. This comp actually has a lot of memories for me growing up around my grandmother. She had this on 8-track, and it was one of the few things that she had on 8-track that I could stomach. This and the Ink Spots, and was glad to pick that comp up. Bachman Turner Overdrive 2. This one had Taking Care of Business. Thought I had, and Let It Ride. I thought I had another hit. One thing I am a ridiculously soft spot sucker for is what I call AM Gold. It was that maybe kind of soft rock, almost yacht rock of the 70s. And here's a great example of a Player. Baby Come Back is the hit off of this one, but this was Player. Again, 20 cents, it was clean. What the hell? Gary Wright, Dreamweaver. This is a second copy for me. I have a promotional copy. I've got a regular. This one was interesting because unfortunately when I got it home, I noticed that there was a defect in the last groove on the last track. But again, for 20 cents, I couldn't say no. And that's Bunny Wailer's Rock and Groove. And what's interesting about this one is that not only is it a Jamaican press, but this was the only version that had a sketch of Bunny Wailer, as opposed to all the other ones which had a photo that was just kind of washed out for this. So it made it a little bit more interesting. Rare Earth Ecology. Again, like I said, not too many like super crazy, like wow, amazingly rare, you know, I'm gonna flip that for $100 fines, because I mean Justin knows his stuff, but you know, these are either the covers were a little dinged up or just wasn't worth to put it in the regular bin or anything like that. So again, I mean, he was loaning them out to me 5 for $1, so I was like, you know, I'm taking a chance on some of these. This is the Fabulous Poodles, and it just looked like it was going to be, you know, some sort of like late 70s, early 80s new wave. That's what Discogs says it's going to be. Like I said, I haven't really had a chance to spin much of these. But again, you know, gives me something to listen to. The Hitmen, this was a promo, stamp promo copy. Again, looks like it's going to be very new wave-ish. So I'm kind of going off of it. For my good friend Emma at 8 Mile Low, some John Mayall, and this is also a gold stamp promo. This was actually pretty clean. It was just the cover, I think, was a little subpar, and maybe he already had a couple, so he just threw it in the dollar bin. BT Express, and this is Energy to Burn. This is a little bit more in their disco, not quite disco, as the approaching disco years. So, but still, funk stuff. I'm glad I picked it up. Pulling over another stack here. What's funny is that it seems like since the vinyl tag, this person has been mentioned a little bit. In fact, this single, this song has actually been mentioned by Mazzy. He mentioned her, and that was Lenny Levitch, New Toy. And this is on the Stiff label, which is just a great looking label. You can see that there. You can see my reflection on my phone. This was also published by Epic, so they threw that on there, which I didn't like. Would have been nice to just let the Stiff logo kind of ride itself, but you know, corporate mentalities, and they gotta get their money. So it's a great EP. Linda Levitch, Diodato. I think I've said this before. I'm a sucker for anything on CTI. Usually it's good stuff, so grab that one. Boss Gags hits. I mean, to me, that's probably all I need from Boss Gags. You know, again, C70s, AM, gold, yacht rock stuff. Scandal, their first EP with Goodbye to You on there. I mean, I love that single, so definitely had to hit that one up. Another, not really blind buy. I wasn't familiar with the group, but I am familiar with the wrapper. This is a Dark Sun Riders and Seeds of Evolution. And if you can see this guy right here, that is Brother Jay. Brother Jay was featured in a hip hop group in the 80s called X Clan. And X Clan was very part of that knowledge-based hip hop movement. They were with a foundation called Black Watch. I actually love their sound. They were very heavily sampling funk, which I really enjoyed their sound, and he had a very unique voice. So I really enjoyed Dark Sun. I really enjoyed X Clan, so I was willing to pick that one up for a small nominal fee. Barry White can't get enough. Well, who can ever get enough of Barry White? So I had to pick that one up. So he's been mentioned a lot in the VC in the past. So went ahead and jumped on this one when I saw it. The cover is not in the best of shape. The vinyl, I mean, a lot of these are probably VG. I mean, there's some that are VG plus, but you know, they look like, I mean, they're not going to give me any major troubles. But it's a great way to kind of sample it and see if I want to dig any further. But relocating, and I think Steve Carlson may have been the one to show this and kind of put it on my radar. Like I said, I haven't really had a chance to spin any of these, but I'm looking forward to spinning that one with a nice, comfortable drink. Don McLean's American Pie. Not really much to talk about there, right? And another one there's not really much to talk about. Billy Joel Glass Houses. Again, this whole stack I'm showing you, it was everything you're seeing. I paid 20 cents for. Brian Auger's Oblivion Express, kind of a progressive rock and jazz blend. So Brian Auger has been shown here before, so definitely was glad to pick him up. Oh. Sorry, I'm getting into the last stack of this. Like I said, I did want to move quickly. There was just a lot to show, and I didn't want to kind of dilly-dally or waste a lot of time. Again, Emma, paying attention. Another John Mayhall. This one is the USA Union. So glad to add a couple more John Mayhall to the collection. The Animals, Animalization. Oh, the old MGM, sorry for the glare. Another Three Dog Night comp, Golden Biscuits. Again, 20 cents. Why would I say no? And then the last one that I found for 20 cents, and I do have to admit, I was shocked I saw it in there. The cover is not in the best of shape, but it's not splitting. The gatefold's still decent. The spine's a little chewed. Vinyl, I'd put it at a VG, but I'm listening to it now and it plays okay. And this is my second time spinning it, and I was shocked to see this one. This was probably the find of the 20-cent records. It's a Seeds Future, and this is an original press on Crescendo. I was shocked because I'm playing it now. There are some Rice Krispies on there. There's a little bit of snap, crackle, and pop here and there. Plays through okay when the music's out. It's not that bad. I can definitely enjoy it. I can definitely enjoy it for what it is. May track out a cleaner original press down the road or a reissue, but I was glad to add some seeds. So very happy. And then he also has a $5 section, and what he does is if you're picking out a couple of them, basically you might as well pick out a handful because $5 each or 6 for 20. Excuse me, need some water. And I promise it's water. I've been on the water kick, so trying to reduce my waistline dramatically. So while I was there, I hit the $5 section just to see what I could find, and one or two in, I found 6 pretty quick. Sammy Hagar's, I think this one's, see, the cassette was always like self-titled, but I think it was officially called I Don't Live. There's been so many different, I don't know, To me, it's always been the self-titled one, but it's got "Give to Live" on it, which is just a great cut. Him and this was when he was still contractually obligated to do one more album for Geffen, even though he had joined Van Halen at that point. So he went ahead, went in the studio, banged this one out. I'm pretty sure Eddie Van Halen plays bass on this one. That I know they co-produced it together. So I don't necessarily think it's his best work, but as a Sammy Hagar fan, glad to have it in the collection. So this one was a nice find because this one was also a gold stamp promo from Capitol Records. This is King Cobra, Ready to Strike. Pretty sure this is their debut. You've got Carmen Apiece, Mike Sweeta, Johnny Rod, David Michael Phillips, Mark Free. Good stuff, you know. Again, I'm trying to add more to my metal collection, my hard rock collection. So saw that one in the bin, had to grab it. This was another great find. This was an 88, 89, 87. Oh, I'm slipping. Original press of Freddie Hubbard on Blue Note. This is Life Flight. He's got two different lineups with him. He's got on side one, he's got George Benson on guitar, Idris Muhammad on drums, Wayne Braithwaite on electric bass, Larry Willis on electric piano and synthesizer, and Stanley Turrentine on tenor sax, and then obviously Freddie on trumpet. And then the side two is more of a traditional 5-piece setup. Obviously Freddie on trumpet, Ralph Moore on tenor sax, Larry Willis on piano, Rufus Reed on bass, and Carl Allen on drums. Haven't had a chance to spin this one yet, but I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, Idris Muhammad on drums, George Benson on guitar. I'm sure it's going to be killer. For some reason, I did not have this. I do now. One sexy mofo of a cover and a hell of an album. It's Candy O from the Cars. Glad to pick that one up. Passed on this one once because it had a scratch on it, and it was one of those things that's like, just hadn't seen another copy come through my hands that was either clean or you know, in the price point, because not that I don't think it's a terribly expensive album, but it's Iron Butterflies Heavy. So glad to pick that one up. And then last but not least, for my good friend Bev at Clarko Vision, I'm a fan too. Def Leppard's Pyromania. This is not my favorite Def Leppard album. It's pretty close. Pardon me. I'd probably say High and Dry is my favorite. This being second. But I mean, On Through the Night, Through Hysteria are just fantastic albums. And I have to agree with Bev on this one. After Steve Clark passed, the band's sound wasn't for me. It's not bad, but not stuff that I would necessarily go after. I remember hearing Adrenalize and wasn't overwhelmingly impressed. And I had that on CD, and I think I still do, but it never really stuck with me. You know, it was like Let's Get Rock just almost tried too hard. But these songs, I mean, fantastic stuff. So I'm glad to have this one back in my collection. And I'm looking to pick up the others. Whew. Man, for me, that's a record-breaking time right there. So, like I said, I'm still trying to get caught up on all the Vinyl Tag videos and keep up on everything else. I've still got more to show. Stuff I'm cleaning, stuff I'm listening to. Usually I don't show it unless I've listened to it, but this stack has just been sitting here, and I wanted to kind of shelve it in a place where I could pull from it, listen to it as I need. It was just kind of sitting on the floor, and I just needed to move it, so I want to get that shown. I got a VC meetup in a few days with a whole bunch of people. Should be a great time. So I'll try to get footage of that and share with everybody. And I'm sure there'll be a couple records to be found from that one as well. So Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting, and just appreciate everybody here in the VC. Talk to everybody soon. Peace.